In this Baldur's Gate 3 build guide, I'm going to be covering my Warlock build for early access and showing you what I found to work best. I'll be doing more build guides at launch of Baldur's Gate 3, but for now, let's look at how you can use a Warlock effectively in the first act of the game. Warlocks in Baldur's Gate 3 early access are extremely powerful because of their cantrip Eldritch Blast that does between 1 to 10 damage every use from 18 meters away, and cantrips can be used every turn without using up spell slots. Additionally, they have some very good spells that deal AoE damage, and they can use Misty Step once they reach level 3. Misty Step allows them to teleport to a location they can see, allowing them to get up high easily where they have advantage when using Eldritch Blast. Advantage means they can roll 2 d20s when attacking and use the higher of the two values for their roll. This increases their hit chance significantly, so they should always look to get up high at the beginning of combat if they can, much like rangers and mages try to do in Divinity Original Sin 2. In this section, we'll take a look at how to set up your Warlock during character creation for best results. You don't have to follow this to the letter, and it's likely this will change at full launch of the game. However, this will hold you in good stead during early access. What background you choose isn't of serious importance here, so you're free to pick and choose what you like. The only exceptions are that you should not choose any backgrounds with intimidation, persuasion, or deception. This sounds completely counterintuitive because all these things benefit from charisma, which is the Warlock spellcasting ability modifier, the stat that affects its spell's accuracy and DC. However, you can select intimidation when you get to the skills section, and you'll gain persuasion and deception at level 2 by taking the beguiling influence passive. This will allow you to gain other skill proficiencies from your background, which you can use for other skill checks throughout early access. The races I suggest using when making a Warlock are Half-Elf, Asmodeus Tiefling, or Drow. Half-Elves and Tieflings will allow you to get to 17 Charisma during character creation, however you only need to get to 16 for early access. This is because you will gain the opportunity only once to gain additional ability points at level 4 during early access, and you don't want to get an improvement in an ability modifier at odd numbers. You'll be aiming to get to 18 at level 4, and this will give you +4 to your Eldritch Blast hit rolls, as well improve the difficulty it is to save against your spells. Half-Elf will allow you to get to 17 Charisma and place 2 other ability points, which is great. They also have Dark Vision, allowing them to see better in dark places, improving your accuracy in combat and helping you locate things. Asmodeus Tieflings, besides Dark Vision, also have the added benefit of the Thaumaturgy cantrip, which gives you advantage on intimidation checks if you use it before trying to intimidate people, which is extremely useful. Particularly because you'll have a bonus of +5 to these rolls from the very beginning of the game. Drow will allow you to get to 16 Charisma and have the added benefit of superior Dark Vision, allowing them to see twice as far in the dark as either Half-Elf or Tiefling. This means your accuracy in dark locations will be even better in these places than Half-Elf and Asmodeus Tiefling on average, but the choice is up to you. As far as class goes, obviously we're choosing Warlock here, but which subclass is really what we're deciding, since this must be done during character creation for Warlocks. You get to choose from the Fiend and the Great Old One so far in early access, and really the choice comes down to whether or not that you want to have the Dark One's Blessing or Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Dissonant Whispers. Dark One's Blessing is supposed to give you temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier plus your level when you kill an enemy until you rest. However, I believe this is currently bugged. While Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Dissonant Whispers can incapacitate targets, making them forego their turn, which can be extremely valuable in fights where there are tough enemies. Dissonant Whispers even deals a good chunk of damage as well. It's really your call here, and you can use whichever you feel is best. Whatever you do though, make sure you take Eldritch Blast for one of your cantrips, because as I've mentioned, it's going to be your primary attack every round. Another great cantrip to take alongside it is Friends, as this allows you to gain advantage on charisma check rolls against non-hostile targets. Cast it on them before entering dialogue if you can, and you should be able to get the desired rolls you want more often than not. If you chose the Fiend, then make sure one of your spells chosen is Hex, because it allows you to increase your damage when using Eldritch Blast against the target, and it's a bonus action, meaning you can use it and then use Eldritch Blast in the same round. Just remember to save Hex for tough enemies, as it uses a spell slot, so you'll have to rest to get these back. If you chose the Great Old One, you can take Hex at level 2 and use Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Dissonant Whispers at level 1. For skills, you want to take Intimidation and any other skill you wish. It doesn't matter which you take here, so this one again is completely up to you. When it comes to ability points, you want to make sure that you are at least at 16 in Charisma so that you gain a +3 ability modifier. Other points should be spread between Constitution, Dexterity, and Intelligence. Intelligence, although not useful in combat, encompasses a large number of skills, and if Warlock is your player character, then it is wise to have a few points here to help with dialogues and interactions. Remember that at level 4 you'll gain 2 ability points, and these should both go into Charisma if it's at 16 during character creation, so be sure to make Dexterity, Constitution, and Intelligence even numbers so that you don't waste ability points. 14 Dex, 14 Con, and 14 Int is not a bad spread here. If you take Charisma to 17, then at level 4 you can bump Charisma just 1 point and place the remaining point into any other ability. At level 2 you'll gain access to some Eldritch invocations that will allow you to further customize your character. Of these, the most important one to take is Agonizing Blast, which adds your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast cantrip. This will be plus 3 damage until level 4, at which point it will become plus 4 when you increase Charisma to 18. The other Eldritch invocation we'll take is Beguiling Influence in order to gain proficiency in Persuasion and Deception. This means at level 2 you'll gain plus 5 to your rolls when trying to persuade, deceive, or intimidate in dialogue, really helping you get those outcomes you want. Make sure to use this character when going into the majority of dialogues for best results. If you haven't taken Hex yet, be sure to do so here, otherwise any other spell will do if you already have it. Read their descriptions and see what they do. I tend to avoid defensive spells and focus on offensive ones that AoE. At Warlock Level 3 in Early Access, you gain Pact of the Chain, which allows you to summon a familiar to assist you in combat. So make sure you start casting this outside of combat so it can help you defeat enemies when fighting. Additionally, you'll gain access to some level 2 spells, and you can pick one to use. I personally like Misty Step, as I mentioned before, but you can take whichever you wish. Hold Person is a great way to remove an enemy from a fight, and Invisibility can be used in a number of creative ways in or out of combat. At Warlock Level 4, you will place points into your abilities, making sure you reach 18 in Charisma. This will increase the bonus to your Persuade, Intimidate, and Deception checks by plus 1, as well as adding plus 1 to your Eldritch Blast rolls and plus 1 to your Eldritch Blast damage. It is hands down the best thing you can do at this level in Early Access. You'll get to take another spell here as well, so if you didn't take Misty Step at level 3, take it now. Or choose from one of the others I suggested, or whichever one you think fits best to you. As far as equipment goes for this Warlock build, you don't need to worry about weapons at all since you'll be casting spells 95% of the time. Weapons are only used when you're in melee range and you can't move away without taking damage. If you do, however, need to use a weapon, make sure it's one you are proficient in. You'll be using light armor, so you want to look out for leather armor plus 1 or studded leather armor if you can. This will ensure that you have at least 14 armor class, which is not terrible at all. You can use any accessories you find, but I have not found any yet in Early Access that would improve upon this build much. Final tips. Always aim to get up high during combat on the first turn if you can in order to gain advantage on your Eldritch Blast cantrip. This will increase your hit chance and is vital to success in many of the more challenging fights. Use Misty Step once you have it if you need to, and don't be afraid to jump if you don't have it yet. If you're using Will for your Warlock, then you'll want to make sure you put both ability points into Charisma at level 4 in order to reach that plus 4 modifier. Also, it's a great idea to have him initiate dialogues when possible, because he will gain all the benefits that you would if you were a Warlock. Lastly, Warlocks have the disadvantage that they will max out at 2 spell casts before they need to rest in Early Access, which is not as much as other spellcasters. However, they do recover all uses on a short rest. Take advantage of this and remember to use your short rest when you don't need to go to camp. Stay tuned for more Baldur's Gate 3 content on this channel, including build guides, with Eldritch Knight coming up next. Be sure to drop by our Twitch channel if you have questions about the game, and check out the BG3 wiki if you're looking for something specific.